Hello and welcome to today's Daily Rift. I'm Stormo, and we have Turbulent Path apparently, and a bunch of gold. There's a chance we're going to hit level 60 in this video too, so look forward to that. It's not as meaningful these days as it was, of course, before Reaper of Souls, but it's still a bit of a milestone, and it basically marks the threshold. Well, actually, level 61 marks the threshold at which we start getting Reaper of Souls loot and the gems and everything. So, but we're getting there. We're getting close. It's not going to be too much longer before we hit level 70 and start having to work our way through torment difficulties. But for the moment, we'll keep doing this. Working our way through here. Get these guys out. Yeah, so I'm not sure we'll reach it quite in this video. I've got about half a level there, but there is a bit of a bonus on that, so we'll just see how we go with it. If it gets to the end of the video and I just need to do the quest turn in, then I'll actually record the quest turn in so that you can see the ding. But yeah, in general, I think we will hit it during the video, so especially if we get more of these kind of groups. Wow, there's a lot there. Ooh, and a legendary plan, that's what that was. I must be missing a lot of the legendary plans from pre-Reaper of Souls, because I've been getting a few of them in various places with this character, I've noticed. It just seems a little bit unusual that I'd be getting them if I already had them, because in general I think they changed it so that plans don't drop if you already know them. I think it can happen, but it's a lot rarer. So I'm getting plans for stuff I don't have. I never really actively farmed for plans back in the day, so I'm not that fussed about it. It's just one of those things that never really actively bothered me, because of course back then we had the auction house and you just buy anything you wanted instead of you know, working for it, which you have to do now. So plans are much more important these days than they were back then. And trying to get good rolls on crafted items is always good fun. So I'm a lot happier about the way it works these days. Taking the auction house out, as much as I thought the auction house would have been a good idea, taking it out I think has been the best choice for this game. I think fundamentally there are ways that the auction house could have been made to work, but it just... Ooh, legendary amulet. It wasn't possible for Blizzard to make it work the way they wanted in the time that they would have needed to do it. I think it was just easier to take it out, and probably for the best. So yeah, one day I'll sit down and think seriously, like, I don't know, plot out just how the auction house could work in this game. That probably involves like spreadsheets and Google and all sorts of crazy stuff that I don't really understand. So maybe I'm not the guy to talk about that so much. All I know is that the game's a lot more fun now than it was back then. Although, one of my prevailing theories about that has always been the idea that the auction house in this game could have worked were it not for the fact that Blizzard based itemization around the fact that players would use the auction house rather than just having it there as an alternative to good items and you just got items and stuff. But I think having the ability, having smart loot and having the ability to re-roll a bad stat on an item, I think these days is much more useful than maybe an auction house, and perhaps that is the solution to the auction house that Blizzard came up with in a lot of ways. In fact, I know that that's the solution they came up with, but I do wonder if there were other solutions that didn't involve removing the auction house completely. But I guess we'll never know, and perhaps it doesn't matter. The game is a lot more fun. I always tell people if they're thinking about getting Diablo 3, I always tell them to make sure they get it with Reaper of Souls, because without Reaper of Souls you miss out on adventure mode and the extra levels and the better itemization that comes from being level 70 and above. You still do get smart loot and all that stuff, because that was all part of the game system. That's like the raw 2.0 patch. But for me, the biggest thing you want is adventure mode. Because as fun as the story mode is, and like, you know, I occasionally play through story mode in this game, but it isn't, you know, where you want to farm items. I mean, this is a game about basically killing monsters for loot, and having stuff like randomly generated dungeons like the rifts and that really, really helps with all that. So we just got ourselves a power pylon. Is it power pylon? Is that what they call it? Yep, power. Dimensional power. So, just got ourselves one of those. One of the best pylons to get. Like, Honestly, I like it more than getting Conduit Pylon because, particularly in Greater Rifts, actually, it does more damage. With the nerfed Conduit Pylon, you now get Greater Rifts. But it's also just, it sort of feels more natural than Conduit Pylon. Like, Conduit Pylon, you're just walking around with, like, lightning shooting at you and the enemies just die instantly and all that kind of stuff. Whereas, this feels like you actually still have to kind of work for it. Whereas that's basically, like, in my head, whenever I get a Conduit Pylon, it's just, like, the Starman music from Super Mario Brothers plays. Because that's how you feel when you have Conduit Pylon. I mean, I know theoretically you can die with it, but, yeah, no, you won't, probably. So, but yeah. Let's see what we've got here. I think we're going to ding very shortly, guys, so get ready for it. Definitely before this rift ends, so I don't know what I was panicking about having to do that before. So yeah, we're going to hit level 60 pretty soon. That's, like I say, it's not the milestone it was once, back when it was the level cap, but it's certainly still a milestone, I think. And it puts us basically into Reaper of Souls territory, so that in itself's good. Yeah, it's probably going to be this pack or the next pack after this that we end up dinging, so here we go. Let's just clear these guys out, get that guy out. I like that I can shoot through those fences. If you're a melee character, fences like that can be really annoying because you generally can't attack through them. Well, I do notice with the monk actually she can use, I forgot the name of the attack, her dashing strike, whatever it's called. That actually can go through some kinds of barriers, including walls, but it can go through fences and stuff too. Sort of wish Vault could do that, but I suppose the difference is that a monk has a much harder time positioning, because the monk always has to be in melee range to do significant amounts of damage, whereas Demon Hunter doesn't need to be in melee range. Vault, there we go, level 60. Ding. So that's a bit of an achievement. Of course, we unlock the last of our basic runes, and we'll get, I forgot the name of the skill that I never use, that the Demon Hunters have. We'll get that, I think, next level. We get Guardian Turret too, which we won't use because we're using Polar Station, and Flying Strike, which I won't use because I don't use Rain of Vengeance. So that's actually like one of the worst runes for Rain of Vengeance, I think, Flying Strike. If you're going to use Rain of Vengeance, Shade is probably the strongest rune, in my experience. It's probably not a great skill these days. There used to be a couple of standard builds that used Rain of Vengeance, back before 2.0 mostly, but not anymore. I think I still have it on the hotbar on my old Demon Hunter, the one I used pre-Reaper of Souls. But yeah, so we're going to clear our way through here. And, but that's a big achievement, and one interesting thing actually with regards to that too is that the difference between level 60 and level 61 is quite low. You can actually see, oh no, it's actually, okay, so they've buffed that experience. I remember it being less than the difference between level 59 and level 60. So you get from 60 to 61 a lot faster than you get from, say, 59 to 60. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Or I'm misremembering the numbers, perhaps. I can't remember. So we're going to go down a level for the very last part of this, but it won't take too much longer. So we don't have much to go in Rift, and things are going to die because I have Nephilim Glory. Nephilim Glory is great. You should always get Nephilim Glory if you can, because it's just pure bonus damage. It costs you nothing other than going maybe a little bit out of your way to collect the orbs, and it's pure bonus damage, and it's always worth making sure you have as much as you can have it. But we're probably going to have it for the Rift Guardian, which will make life a bit easier on the Rift Guardian. 3 stacks is the best to have too. 2 stacks tends to look flashy, but 3 stacks is actually better because 3 stacks combines the second stack with an AoE as well. But you often don't see 3rd stack as well. Like the second stack has like the gold lightning streaming between enemies, which you can just see there. But the second stack has that, sorry, and the 3rd stack used to not be as prominent, but it is a bit more obvious these days, so that's good. Anyway, enough about that. We've got Veracity, which is based on Gom, that annoying guy. Veracity is one of the more annoying ones because of the gas clouds that you've got to be careful about, especially in narrow areas like this, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful. I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble, but when you're playing on higher difficulties, his gas clouds are quite nasty. You've got to be really careful about where you are because they basically surround you. I'm actually running back into where they are right now. They do fade away after time. You see me taking damage there. They do fade away after time, but you've got to be super careful. I'm not going to worry too much about it because I can recover the damage pretty easily. I'm not going to die because of this. So. And he's going to die a lot sooner than I am, and the gas clouds lose their power once he dies, so pick up that legendary hand crossbow he's got. Yeah, legendaries off the root guard, and that was off the elite that I was fighting just before. We picked up some gems, flawless squares and whatnot, so... Oh, we did get a... Oh, that's right, we got that before, didn't we? Legendary amulet. So, what's that? That is an Eye of Etlich, and that is not even arguing that's an upgrade. And this is a hand crossbow. I wonder what this hand crossbow is, let's find out. That is, oh wow, that's a big upgrade. Kamar 10 clip. Strafe gains the effect of the drifting shadow rune. Well, I don't use strafe, but that is 92% damage above what I'm using at the moment, so we are going to switch to it. We're just going to see if we've picked anything else up that's worth switching to. No. No, none of those weapons will be worth switching to now that I've got that. Oh, that's close though. That's not. Maybe a new belt. New belt would be nice actually. That's increases evasive fire damage by 8%. That would... no, because the other one already has that on it. Okay, maybe not. No, not really. No, nothing else at this point, so... So yeah, there's all our upgrades, and that was a plan for the wedge, which is a one-handed axe. So I will go teach myself that plan, and I will be back on, well, Monday with... Oh, sorry, Tuesday with a new video.
I am returning to town.